I want you to listen carefully because this is where it all begins. Desire is not a whisper or a passing thought. Desire is the fire that keeps you awake when the world is sleeping, the obsession that pushes you beyond limits no one else dares to cross. If you want something badly enough, it doesn't just live in your mind, it consumes you. It wakes you up before the sun. It keeps you grinding when your body screams for rest. Think about the great philosophers and warriors of history. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Desire is what turns obstacles into opportunities. If you want to create wealth, if you want to build an empire, it begins with a hunger so deep that it overshadows fear, doubt, and distraction. Too many people say they want success, but they don't. They want comfort. They want recognition without the effort, reward without the grind. But desire doesn't allow shortcuts. Alexander the Great didn't conquer the world by wishing for it. He woke up each day with the vision of extending his empire, relentless in pursuit, sacrificing sleep, comfort, and ease. Desire is the difference between wishing and achieving. It's the internal fire that doesn't ask for permission, that refuses to be tamed. If your desire isn't consuming you, then you're merely dreaming, and dreams without action are illusions. Now let's talk about what desire demands. Desire demands action, consistency, and sacrifice. It's the willingness to work when no one is watching, to study when your friends are out, to push when your body is weak. The great thinkers and leaders, Leonardo da Vinci, for example, spent countless hours honing their craft, not for fame or applause, but because the fire inside them refused to be quiet. He painted, he studied, he experimented relentlessly. That same principle applies to your life. The stronger your desire, the greater your capacity to endure the pain and make the sacrifices necessary for success. Here's the thing, desire is tested. You'll encounter moments when the temptation of comfort screams louder than your goals. You'll feel the pull of ease, of sleep, of entertainment, of social distraction. But the measure of your desire is how you respond. Do you give in or do you press forward? Do you treat every obstacle as an excuse or as fuel? The Roman philosopher Seneca said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." Desire demands that you dare, that you step into the arena and fight for every inch of your vision. Think about it practically. If you want to build wealth, your desire must translate into daily actions. Early mornings, studying markets, late nights, planning investments, choosing growth over instant gratification. Every small, deliberate step compounds into something extraordinary. Desire isn't just passion, it's persistence, powered by obsession. Without it, you will settle. With it, nothing can stop you. Desire turns the impossible into the inevitable because it refuses to quit, refuses to compromise, refuses to rest until the goal is achieved. You see, desire is contagious to your own life. When you cultivate a fire that refuses to die, it influences your actions, your habits, your mindset. It aligns your thoughts and decisions with the life you envision. Without that intensity, you drift. With it, you dominate. Desire is the engine of achievement, the heartbeat of those who refuse to be average. So I ask you again, how badly do you want it? If your desire doesn't keep you awake at night, push you to act in the early hours, and make sacrifices that others won't, then you are not ready. The journey begins with desire, relentless and unyielding. And remember this, fire without action is just heat. Action fueled by desire builds empires. Let me be real with you. Nothing worth having comes without a price. The truth is, every dream, every goal, every measure of success demands that you give up something. Sacrifice is not optional. It is the foundation upon which greatness is built. It's the quiet hours you spend working when everyone else is resting. It's saying no to temporary pleasure so you can invest in long-term rewards. The Roman philosopher Epictetus said, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." Sacrifice is knowing what to let go of now, so you can gain more later. Most people say they want success, but when the moment comes to choose, they pick comfort, they pick the easy path, they pick the familiar. They want the reward without the struggle, but life does not work that way. Look at the great warriors, the thinkers, the architects of history. Julius Caesar didn't rise to power by taking the comfortable route. He chose strategy over ease, risk over security, and action over delay. Every step toward greatness requires you to part with what feels good today in order to create what will feel extraordinary tomorrow. That could mean early mornings when your body wants to rest, late nights when your friends are celebrating, or turning down distractions that derail your focus. Sacrifice is the unseen currency of achievement. Here's a practical example. If you want financial freedom, you can't spend your money recklessly while dreaming of wealth. You have to prioritize investments over immediate pleasure, discipline over indulgence, strategy over impulse. That's the essence of sacrifice. You give up short-term comfort to create long-term abundance. It is not glamorous, and no one will cheer for you while you're making those hard choices. But every dollar saved, every skill honed, every extra hour worked is a step closer to the life you envision. Sacrifice also tests your commitment. You will encounter moments when you doubt whether the trade-offs are worth it. You may question why you're waking up early while others sleep, why you're grinding while others relax, why you're disciplined while others indulge. But remember, the path of sacrifice is not meant to be easy. It's meant to filter out those who aren't willing to pay the price. Seneca said, difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. Every challenge you endure, every comfort you resist, every small no you say today compounds into a future of undeniable reward. Another critical point is that sacrifice is often invisible to the world. The people who achieve greatness are not always celebrated for their daily grind. They are applauded for results, but the work behind those results, the discipline, the choices, the sacrifices remains unseen. Leonardo da Vinci painted masterpieces not because it was easy, but because he devoted countless hours to learning, experimenting, and perfecting his craft while others pursued leisure. The reward always favors those willing to endure what others refuse to endure. So you must ask yourself, how badly do you want your dream? Are you willing to pay the cost, to give up sleep, ease, temporary pleasures, and even comfort? Every sacrifice is a vote for your future. Every choice to push, to persist, to endure is a step toward the reality you desire. The uncomfortable decisions you make today are the building blocks of your success tomorrow. And remember this, the price of greatness is often unseen, but the payoff is undeniable. Listen carefully, because this is where most people fail. They rely on motivation instead of discipline. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes like the wind. One day you feel inspired, the next day you feel nothing. But discipline doesn't wait for feelings. Discipline is showing up day after day, even when your body wants rest, even when your mind screams for a break, even when everyone else is giving up. Aristotle once said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. Discipline is the habit that transforms dreams into reality. Motivation will get you started. Discipline will carry you to the finish line. Think about it practically. You want to build wealth? You may feel excited on Monday, but what about Tuesday when fatigue sets in? What about Thursday when distractions seem louder than your ambition? Motivation will falter, but discipline is the engine that keeps you moving. Every hour you dedicate to studying your craft, every morning you rise before sunrise, every decision to stay focused when others are partying, it's discipline that compounds those efforts into results. Without discipline, the best intentions never materialize. Discipline also builds character. It teaches you to resist temptation and prioritize long-term gain over short-term pleasure. The great Roman general Scipio Africanus didn't lead his armies by relying on their enthusiasm alone. He trained them, drilled them, pushed them through pain and fatigue until excellence became second nature. That same principle applies to your life. You must train your mind, body, and habits to consistently perform at a high level, even when excitement fades. Here's another perspective. Motivation is like gasoline. It burns bright and fast, but it disappears quickly. Discipline is the engine that runs without it. The people who achieve greatness are not the ones who feel like working. They are the ones who work because they committed to a standard, a practice, and a vision that cannot be compromised. Discipline doesn't need applause. It doesn't need recognition. It just works silently, persistently, and relentlessly toward the goal. Now let's talk about practical application. If you want to be the best, discipline means showing up when no one else is watching. It means working on your skills when entertainment is tempting. It means managing your time, controlling your environment, and saying no to distractions. Benjamin Franklin said, "Energy and persistence conquer all things." That energy, when directed by discipline, is unstoppable. It builds momentum, creates results, and eventually makes you unrecognizable compared to the person who relied on motivation alone. Discipline also teaches patience. You will not see results immediately. Motivation falters when results are slow, but discipline persists. You must understand that greatness is a long game. Each day you stick to your plan. Each time you resist temptation. Each moment you honor your commitment. You're stacking bricks in the foundation of your success. Over time, those bricks become a fortress that no temporary distraction or fleeting feeling can dismantle. So ask yourself, how badly do you want it? If you are waiting for motivation, you are waiting to fail. But if you develop discipline, you create a life where success is inevitable because it is no longer dependent on mood, emotion, or circumstance. Discipline is your silent partner, your inner engine, the unseen force that separates the dreamers from the doers, the ordinary from the extraordinary. And remember this, motivation may start the fire, but discipline keeps it burning until your vision becomes reality. I want you to understand something right now. Pain is not your enemy. Struggle is not a punishment. They are your teachers, your allies, your most honest guides. Life will test you, challenge you, and push you to your limits. But it is in those moments that greatness is forged. The Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." Every setback, every failure, every obstacle you encounter is shaping you, building resilience and teaching lessons no classroom ever could. Most people run from struggle. They avoid discomfort at all costs. But the people who achieve greatness do the opposite. They lean into it. They understand that growth never comes from ease. Consider the story of Thomas Edison. He failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. Each failure was not defeat, it was data. Each painful moment was a stepping stone toward success. He did not complain. He did not quit. He embraced the struggle and used it as fuel to push harder, work smarter, and innovate relentlessly. Struggle also sharpens your perspective. When you face adversity, you develop a clarity that comfort can never give you. It teaches you what matters, what is worth fighting for, and who is truly on your side. If you want to build wealth or master your craft, you must accept that the journey will be uncomfortable. There will be sleepless nights, early mornings, moments when your body aches and your mind wants to give up. But those are exactly the moments that separate the average from the extraordinary. Pain is the currency of progress. Let me give you a practical perspective. If you want financial freedom, the path will be filled with obstacles, unexpected expenses, failed investments, criticism from others. If you recoil from these challenges, you will never move forward. But if you view them as allies, lessons, and opportunities to refine your strategy, you gain an advantage that those avoiding struggle will never understand. Every challenge you face equips you with experience, resilience, and wisdom that can never be bought. Remember, it's not just the big struggles, the life-altering failures that matter. Often it's the daily grind, the repeated small battles that shape your destiny. Waking up when it's still dark, working when others play, sacrificing comfort for discipline. These are the struggles that accumulate and compound. The great Napoleon Hill wrote, "Every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. Pain is not to be feared. It is to be embraced." And here's a psychological truth. Your response to pain determines your future. You can let it break you or you can let it build you. Every person who has achieved extraordinary things has experienced struggle, but they refuse to be defined by it. They used it as fuel, motivation, and perspective. Struggle becomes a teacher, refining your mind, shaping your habits, and developing the mental toughness required to sustain success. So I ask you again, how badly do you want it? Are you willing to endure discomfort, embrace failure, and learn from struggle? Because those who avoid pain will never achieve greatness, and those who welcome it, harness it, and rise above it will leave a legacy. And remember this, your struggle today is the strength you will carry tomorrow. Now listen carefully, because this is where most people fail. They let the first setback define their journey. Resilience is not about avoiding failure. It is about bouncing back, stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever before. Life will knock you down. Friends will doubt you. Circumstances will challenge you, and failure will test your resolve. But your ability to rise after each fall is what determines your destiny. Confucius said, "Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall." That is the power of resilience. Most people quit when things get tough. They see obstacles as walls instead of stepping stones. But those who achieve greatness understand that resilience transforms obstacles into opportunities. Take the example of Abraham Lincoln. He lost multiple elections, faced business failures, and endured personal tragedies before becoming one of the most influential leaders in history. Every failure, every rejection, every painful moment was not the end. It was preparation. Resilience allowed him to persevere, adapt, and ultimately achieve greatness. Resilience also sharpens your mindset. When life tests you, you learn patience, discipline, and self-reliance. You develop the mental strength to keep moving forward, even when the path seems impossible. The challenges you endure today are the foundation of your confidence tomorrow. Each time you refuse to give in to fear, doubt, or pain, you are building an unshakable inner core. Talk practically. If you want to build wealth or master a craft, setbacks are inevitable, projects fail, investments falter, markets fluctuate, but your ability to respond, to learn, to pivot, and to persist is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Those who are resilient treat failure not as defeat, but as feedback. They adjust their strategy, refine their approach, and push harder. Thomas Carlyle once said, "Blessed is he who has learned to admire, but not to envy, to follow, but not to imitate, to work, but not to imitate, to work, but not to despair." That is resilience, the ability to keep going when everything tells you to quit. Resilience is also cultivated in the small, everyday choices. Every time you wake up early, push through fatigue, and stay focused despite distractions, you are training your mind to endure. It is not a single act of bravery that makes you resilient. It is the repeated commitment to rise after every fall, to keep moving. When the world seems against you, like a muscle, resilience grows stronger with each challenge you face and overcome. Here's the harsh truth. Life will test you, sometimes mercilessly, but the longer you persist, the more you cultivate resilience, and the more unstoppable you become. The people who achieve the highest levels of success are not those who avoid failure. They are the ones who fail more than anyone else, yet refuse to be defeated. Every obstacle they face, every setback they endure, every moment of doubt only strengthens their resolve. So I ask you, how badly do you want it? Are you willing to fall and rise again over and over without surrender? Are you willing to transform every failure into a lesson, every setback into momentum, every doubt into determination? Because when resilience becomes your habit, nothing can stop you, not fear, not pain, not rejection, not circumstance. And remember this, the one who refuses to quit is the one who ultimately wins. Let me tell you something that most people overlook. Talent and luck will only take you so far. What separates those who reach their dreams from those who merely talk about them is consistency. Consistency is not glamorous. It doesn't come with applause. It doesn't feel exciting every single day, but it is the quiet, persistent force that turns effort into results. Aristotle said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. Excellence is not a random event. It is the sum of consistent actions taken over time. Think about a farmer planting seeds. You can't plant one seed and expect a forest the next day. You water, you tend, you protect, and you keep doing it every day until the harvest comes. Wealth, mastery, success, it works the same way. You show up consistently, even when motivation fades, even when results are invisible, even when it feels like no one notices. Each step compounds over time, and soon what seemed impossible becomes inevitable. Consistency also builds trust, not with others, but with yourself. Every time you follow through on a commitment, every time you execute your plan, you prove to yourself that you are reliable, disciplined, and capable. That inner trust fuels confidence, and confidence fuels persistence. The great Roman statesman Cicero once said, "The foundation of justice is good faith. Good faith begins with you." When you consistently do what you say you will, you build a life anchored in integrity and purpose. Let's get practical. If you want to create wealth, showing up one day a week to learn, invest, or work on your business will not move the needle, but dedicating yourself every day, even in small increments, compounds into extraordinary results. If you want to build skill, practice must be relentless, not occasional. The violinist who practices 10 minutes sporadically will never reach mastery. The one who practices every day, rain or shine, fatigue or excitement, creates excellence. Consistency also builds resilience. When you commit to showing up repeatedly, even when results are slow, even when progress feels invisible, you train your mind to endure. You learn to trust the process, to embrace discipline, and to ignore distractions. Over time, this habit of consistency becomes automatic, and the world begins to bend to your will, not because you are lucky, not because you are talented, but because you refuse to quit. Consider the life of Benjamin Franklin. His brilliance was not merely a product of intelligence. It was a product of consistent daily habits, reading, writing, experimenting, and reflecting. Each small effort added up to achievements that shaped history. Your path works the same way. Daily small, intentional steps may feel insignificant in the moment, but over weeks, months, and years, they compound into extraordinary results. So I ask you, how badly do you want it? Are you willing to show up every single day without excuses, without waiting for inspiration? Are you willing to be consistent even when it's hard, boring, or lonely? Because consistency is non-negotiable. It is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. And remember this. The person who refuses to miss a day, who honors the process, and who relentlessly executes, even when unseen, will inevitably become unstoppable. I need you to understand this truth. Nothing worthwhile comes without a price. Success is not free, and the world does not hand out greatness to those who want it casually. Every achievement, every milestone, every level of mastery demands a sacrifice. You must be willing to give up what others hold dear. Comfort, leisure, even relationships, if you truly want to rise above the rest. As Seneca once said, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Every moment you spend avoiding hard choices, every hour you choose ease over effort, is a moment you can never reclaim. Most people think they want success, but when it comes time to pay the price, they hesitate. They want wealth, but they won't delay gratification. They want mastery, but they won't endure repetitive practice. They want recognition, but they won't work while the world sleeps. But the people who achieve extraordinary things understand a simple principle. To gain something great, you must first give something up. Let me give you an example. Abraham Lincoln faced years of failure, lost elections, personal tragedies, financial struggles, but he persisted because he was willing to sacrifice comfort, security, and certainty for a vision greater than himself. His sacrifices were not always visible to others, but each choice to endure hardship, to stay committed, and to persevere became the foundation of his ultimate success. The same principle applies to your life. Sacrifice is also about daily choices. It's not only about quitting a job or taking a huge risk. It's about the small, consistent decisions you make every day. Waking up an hour earlier when the bed feels warm, dedicating evenings to building skill instead of distractions, saying no to temporary pleasure so you can invest in your future. This is the currency of success. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you are depositing into the bank of your destiny. Think about the great composer Ludwig van Beethoven. He faced immense personal struggles, including deafness, yet he sacrificed a life of ease to compose music that would resonate centuries later. His pain, his labor, his willingness to surrender personal comfort to a higher purpose is what created a legacy that no one could ever erase. The reality is this: The more you are willing to sacrifice, the more your potential expands. The road to wealth, mastery, or influence is not paved with comfort. It is paved with sweat, tears, and relentless effort. If you are unwilling to give up what others hold on to, you will always compete in their lane and live with their limitations. So I ask you, how badly do you want it? Are you willing to pay the price, to let go of short-term comfort for long-term gain? Are you ready to embrace the sacrifices that others avoid, to do what most will not, so you can achieve what most never will? Because make no mistake, sacrifice is not a burden. It is an investment. Every choice you make to endure, to persist, and to focus compounds into results that are unstoppable. And remember this, the life you want is not free. Its currency is sacrifice. Are you willing to pay it? Discipline. That word separates the dreamers from the achievers. Talent will take you only so far. Inspiration will fade. But discipline is relentless. It is the engine that keeps you moving when motivation dies, when doubt creeps in, and when the world whispers that you're not enough. As Aristotle said, through discipline comes freedom. Discipline is not about restriction. It is about creating the conditions for your success, the framework that transforms ambition into achievement. Consider the simple truth. Most people wake up and do what feels easy. They follow desire, indulgence, and comfort. But the people who dominate their fields, the ones history remembers, wake up and do what is necessary. Whether they feel like it or not, they make choices that others avoid. They act when others procrastinate. They persist when others quit. Every small act of self-control compounds into unstoppable momentum. Take practical examples. A musician who practices consistently, even when exhausted, builds mastery. An investor who follows disciplined saving and investing principles, even when tempted to spend recklessly, accumulates wealth over time. A scholar who studies relentlessly, even when friends are out enjoying themselves, masters knowledge and skills that others never reach. Each act of discipline strengthens your capacity to act in the future. Discipline also protects you from the illusions of ease. The world is filled with distractions, temptations, and short-term pleasures that steal your focus and weaken your resolve. The disciplined individual says no to what is unnecessary and yes to what matters most. They understand that success is not built in moments of comfort, but in the daily commitment to action. Jim Rohn once said, "Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. It is the invisible force that connects desire to reality." Discipline is more than doing the right thing occasionally. It is doing the right thing consistently, even when no one is watching, even when the results are invisible, and even when your body protests. Every day you show up, every choice you make to honor your commitment, you are reinforcing a habit that cannot be taken away. It becomes part of your identity. You no longer rely on motivation. You operate from principle, from habit, from purpose. Consider the life of Leonardo da Vinci. His masterpieces were not born from whim or chance. They were the product of discipline, study, sketching, experimentation, and refinement over decades. He applied relentless focus to his craft, refused to be distracted by fleeting pleasures, and built a body of work that changed the world. Discipline, not luck or fleeting inspiration, made him extraordinary. So I ask you, how badly do you want it? Are you willing to discipline your mind, your body, and your actions to serve your goals, even when the path is hard and the rewards seem distant? Are you willing to refuse shortcuts, resist temptations, and endure discomfort because you know that every small act of discipline is a step closer to greatness? And remember this, discipline is not a limitation. It is your superpower. It is the one thing that transforms desire into destiny, effort into excellence, and dreams into reality. Persistence is the quiet force that keeps you moving when everything around you is telling you to stop. Most people quit at the first sign of difficulty. They see obstacles and immediately surrender. But persistence is what separates those who dream from those who achieve, those who try from those who conquer. Thomas Carlyle once said, "Continuity gives strength. Discontinuity is weakness." The strength of your journey is measured not by how fast you start, but by how steadfastly you continue. Life will test you relentlessly. Opportunities will close, projects will fail, people will doubt you, and circumstances will appear insurmountable. But the persistent individual does not view setbacks as endings. They see them as lessons, as stepping stones to mastery. Every challenge, every rejection, every failure is a chance to refine your strategy, to strengthen your resolve, and to move closer to your goals. The person who persists, even when progress is invisible, eventually wins. Consider the life of Thomas Edison. He failed thousands of times before inventing the electric light bulb. Each failure was not defeat, it was feedback. Edison famously said, "I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Persistence allowed him to turn repeated setbacks into ultimate triumph. Every step forward, no matter how small or slow, was cumulative. Every effort, even when unseen or undervalued, brought him closer to the breakthrough that changed the world. Persistence also strengthens your mindset. The more you push through obstacles, the more resilient your mental toughness becomes. You train your mind to endure frustration, to resist giving up, and to trust in your ability to achieve despite difficulties. Each time you refuse to quit, you are building an unshakable belief in yourself. The challenges you face today are merely preparing you for the victories of tomorrow. Let's bring it closer to practical life. If you want to build wealth, there will be financial setbacks. If you want mastery in a skill, there will be mistakes and slow progress. If you want influence, there will be criticism and rejection. The persistent person understands that these obstacles are temporary. They do not define your potential. They are the test of your commitment. Persistence transforms adversity into opportunity. Look at Winston Churchill. Facing the greatest crises of his time, he did not let fear or doubt dictate his actions. He persisted, spoke, strategized, and led relentlessly. His persistence carried a nation through its darkest hours. Similarly, in your own life, every day you refuse to quit. Every time you rise after a setback, you are moving toward your own triumph. So I ask you, how badly do you want it? Are you willing to persist when no one else believes in you? Are you willing to rise every time life knocks you down, to keep moving when the path is unclear, and to endure when the reward seems distant? Because persistence outlasts all obstacles. It is the bridge between failure and success, the weapon that turns determination into achievement, and the quality that separates winners from quitters. And remember this, the one who persists relentlessly will always outlast the opposition, the challenge, and even their own doubts. Every journey begins with a vision. Without it, desire is scattered, effort is wasted, and persistence falters. But when you have a vision, a clear picture of the life you want, the impact you want to make, and the person you want to become, something extraordinary happens. Desire ignites, and suddenly your goals are no longer optional. They become urgent, non-negotiable, a matter of survival. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry once said, "A goal without a plan is just a wish." Vision turns your wishes into a roadmap, your dreams into actionable steps, and your desire into a force that cannot be ignored. Think about the inventors, leaders, and artists who shaped history. Each of them faced doubt, scarcity, and setbacks, yet they were driven by a vision that burned brighter than any obstacle. Leonardo da Vinci imagined flying centuries before an aircraft existed. His vision was so compelling that it sustained him through years of experimentation and failure. His desire became unstoppable because he could see what others could not. Vision is more than seeing the end result. It is about feeling it, living it in your mind every day when you wake up with a vision in your heart. Each sacrifice, each disciplined action, each moment of persistence is fueled by something far greater than immediate gratification. It becomes impossible to quit because your eyes are fixed on a destination that transcends temporary pain or discomfort. As Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail." Your vision allows you to carve your own path, to do what others will not, and to achieve what others deem impossible. Let me give you a practical example. Imagine a young person with the vision of financial independence. Every time they resist unnecessary spending, every hour they invest in learning, every effort to create value is powered by the vision of freedom. The vision gives them the energy to endure hardships, the motivation to rise early, and the courage to make sacrifices that others avoid. Without that vision, the same actions might feel tedious or meaningless, but with it, they become purposeful, and purpose ignites relentless desire. Vision also shields you from doubt. When challenges arise, when criticism comes, when setbacks threaten to derail your journey, your vision reminds you why you started. It serves as a compass, keeping you aligned with your goals and providing a sense of clarity when the world feels chaotic. Napoleon Hill once said, "Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Conceive, believe, and let that vision drive your every action until success is inevitable." So I ask you, how badly do you want it? Are you willing to create a vision so compelling that nothing, not fear, not failure, not distractions can pull you away? Are you willing to let your vision fuel your discipline, persistence, and sacrifice, transforming your desire into unstoppable action? Because when vision ignites desire, no obstacle can stand in your way and no limit can contain your potential. And remember this, your vision is the fire that will carry you through every struggle, every setback, and every sacrifice. Nurture it, believe it, and let it drive you to greatness. Now I want you to stop for a moment and look yourself in the mirror. Ask yourself, how badly do you want it? Not just in words, not just in daydreams, but in every choice you make, in every sacrifice you're willing to endure, in every hour you dedicate to your vision. Success does not come to those who wait. It comes to those who fight, who grind, who refuse to settle for mediocrity. The life you dream about, the greatness you aspire to, it is not handed to you. It is earned, moment by moment, decision by decision. So I challenge you today, rise earlier than you think you can, push harder than you believe possible, and stay committed when others quit. Let your discipline be unshakable. Let your persistence outlast every obstacle. Let your vision fuel a desire that nothing can extinguish. Sacrifice the temporary for the eternal. The choices you make today determine the life you will live tomorrow. Do not let fear, doubt, or comfort steal your potential. Stand up. Take action. Make the decision right now that nothing will stop you, that every setback is a setup, and that you will give everything you have until your dreams are no longer dreams. They are your reality.